You will have to project. I don't have a mic. You're good when you're in.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to my quick presentation about the University of Toronto Press. Welcome. I'm Lori Will, and I'm Manager of Business Development. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about the University of Toronto Press. I know we're up in Canada, but we happen to be one of the top 10 in terms of size and volume university presses in North America. So we're up there with slightly smaller than Johns Hopkins, close to University of Toronto Press and Yale University Press. And I'll just tell you about our publications and what it is that we do. In addition to our publications, we also own 4 university campus bookstores. So the University of Toronto has multiple campuses, and uniquely, University of Toronto Press owns and operates those stores, which we find to be helpful because we connect with the faculty and the students in a R1 research institution. Not only do we own the bookstores, but we also have distribution partnerships. So we have over 250 distribution partnerships. We have distribution centers in Toronto as well as New York State. And so we're working with lots of different presses that need our services as well. In terms of our publishing, we publish approximately 250 books per year. The majority of our titles are monographs, but we also are significantly invested in the nonfiction trade types of books, usually for the adult learned reader, but nonetheless trade. And we also have a good number of textbooks. So many of our textbooks are probably for second year, third year undergraduates as well. In addition to publishing 250 books per year, we also publish 80 journals. In the 4 years that I've been with University of Toronto Press, we have doubled the number of journals. So we started 4 years ago with 40, and now we have 80. And that's through natural acquisitions, one journal at a time. But also, we purchased a list from a UK press where we got 20 journals in the area of linguistics. So that really bumped up our numbers quite instantly. So 4 campus stores, about 250 client publishers, 250 publications, and we're read in 190 countries. So here's just a distribution of our readership statistics. Our largest group of readers happens to be in the US, which is great to have this big population interested in our content. Many of our authors are also American, so that makes a lot of sense. And then 25% of our readership is Canada, which makes sense. And then our third is Australia, New Zealand. So just wanted to give you a snapshot of where our readers are. In addition, our authors, I did a quick pie chart of our distribution of authors. So we're a very international press, and librarians that don't know University of Toronto Press very well might think that we're obviously very focused on the Canadian Journal of, the Canadian edition of, but we are very international. So we can serve a lot of needs and wants from the various libraries. Now, what kind of content do we publish? So we have 7,500 ebooks now in our backlist. Traditionally, we have been humanities, social sciences, education, history, that kind of thing. But as I mentioned, we're very focused on linguistics as a science. We're building more into the business scholarly publishing as well. So this is just a snapshot of the variety of subject matters that we are focused on. As I mentioned earlier, we recently acquired a linguistics list from Equinox, a publisher in the UK. So with that acquisition, we acquired 350 linguistics research texts, books, and 20 journals. In addition, we purchased a small press called Legas Publishing, very focused on the humanities, global authorship, multilingual. So we'll have French, Spanish, German. So most of our press is English, but this acquisition lets us broaden out into more languages in the humanities areas. So we have 150 subject areas that we publish in. We're almost 125 years old. Next year we'll be 125 years old. So we have a number of series that we focus on. And I just wanted to highlight a few of them because I can't list all of them. Anthropology is a very big list for us. We have a lot of ethnographies, case studies. We even have a small new series called ethnographics. So using the graphics to explain research topics has become more popular across a number of subjects. So we're really proud of that, and that's been exciting. And I wanted to show you something that's quintessentially Canadian, and that's our Lucy Maud Montgomery Library. If any of you are familiar with Anne of Green Gables, Lucy Maud Montgomery is from Nova Scotia, Canada. So we have a series covering literary studies of her content. The collected works of Erasmus. The collected works of Erasmus, we have 90 volumes in this series. So we're one of the largest English translations of the Erasmus teachings. So we go very deep into that. I was at the ACRL conference a few months ago in the spring, and a librarian, I love Erasmus. Like what number are you at? So a lot of people who are in the philosophy area know this. And I just wanted to mention, again, to emphasize our linguistics purchase. So we have several linguistics series focusing on different areas. This one I'm just highlighting about teamwork and team talk, decision makings across the boundaries in health and social care. As I have mentioned, we have 80 journals, and we have published 2,700 articles per year. We're read again our journals are read in about 185 to 90 countries. And we have international representation. So some of our journals are press owned, but we also provide publishing services to many research societies. One of them being with the Guthrie Clinic Journal of Medicine. It's a smallish clinic in Pennsylvania with multiple outlets, and they produce their own research, of course. And that journal is 80 years old. They've been publishing cardiac research for years. We also have the Journal of the Cervantes Society of America. And they actually approached UTV to provide publishing services for the Cervantes Journal because we have a very deep Iberic studies list, and many of the members of the Cervantes Society of America are published by UTP, so it's a great fit. Yes, and one of those journals, City Climate Policy and Economy, at the bottom right, that's UTP's first S2O journal. And we started that journal almost 3 years ago. It was a new journal and a new model. So it's been a very tough struggle to make sure that we reach the sustainability threshold for it each year. But thanks to libraries like yourselves with those subscriptions, we have been able to move that journal to open access. And it's growing, the readership is growing. So it's been a fantastic initiative for UTP. We also focus a lot on open access at UTP. We know that's very important. So I was just checking with our recent journals, with 32% of our journals right now are open access of some kind. Gold, open access, diamond, some are diamond, as well as our S2O journal. We're very excited. We just signed this clinical insights in neonatology, working with the Sick Children's Hospital in Toronto, which is quite famous. That Pavlov was invented at Sick Children's Hospital in Toronto. So we're working with the neonatology group there, and then all the university hospitals around that, and the medical school at the University of Toronto. So it's a pretty exciting initiative. And also, not only journals, but we are very focused on open access books, making some books open access. So with partnership from University of Toronto libraries, we've been able to do that, as well as partnerships with Tome and one other, sorry, I can't remember, but we're reaching out and trying to develop that list of open access. We always make sure as well, we're always reaching to try to get our journals accepted on the most prestigious indexes in their fields. And we were just looking at PubMed and so forth, and it's been shut down. They can't accept any more journals right now because of the funding was cut, unfortunately. So it just reminded me of that. But I'm sure it'll get back up and running again soon. Oops. Sorry about that. So this year, with our recent acquisitions, building out our list, building out our partnerships with other publishers, we are focused on providing our front list monograph collection directly from UTP. So we do have partnerships with Paradigm de Gruyter, which has been wonderful, but UTP is also selling just our front list for now. And our front list is made up of so many subjects. These are our big bucket subjects that you can see here. When we say history, we mean almost every aspect of history that you can think of. Literary studies, again, the full gamut. And we're very strong in anthropology as well. So our front list obviously changes each year, but the source of the front list comes from the series, comes from our 125 years history. And so it will change each year slightly, but we've got lots of variety. So just to break it down really briefly, I took it to here. So we've got, of course, we're Canadian, so we have Canadian history, but we have a very deep Slavic and Ukrainian list. European history, absolutely. So just to name a few. And I'm just talking about our front list. In literary studies, deep literary studies with our Iberic list, our Hispanic studies, early modern English, sociology, we have education, higher education, K to 12 education, health and medicine. We recently expanded our acquisitions editors to include a medicine and health studies acquisitions editor. So he's been working for us for a couple of years. So now in the front list, so those titles have been signed and they're starting to come through. And those will be, if they can be medical narratives, memoirs, lots of different aspects. I have mentioned anthropology, so we're really focused on social and cultural. We do have some archaeology studies as well, but a lot of focus on social and cultural anthropology. As I mentioned, our ethnographies and case studies, we have many, and linguistic anthropology. And in terms of our communication and cultural studies, we have a lot focusing on media studies, Latin American communication and cultural studies, and political. So that is just a little bit about University of Toronto Press. I'm so happy that you came to hear more about us, and I look forward to reaching out and having conversations with you, not only at this conference, but maybe on some web meetings. And we could talk about front list, we could talk about S2O. Our front list, importantly, is one-time purchases, perpetual access, DRM free, all of those necessities for a library, and so forth. Are there any questions that you might have? I think I'm right at the 2:18 mark, so. Thank you so much, and I will see you later, maybe down in the exhibition hall and at sessions throughout the rest of the week. Thank you.